Today I'm going to be walking you through one of the 3 books. I will be posting the other 2 book videos probably after this video, or you will see them by the latest on Monday. But you will see the other 2 books that I'm going to be talking about. Evan-Moor Publishers was gracious enough to send us the Daily 6 Writing Trait Grade 3. We did use Grade 2 last year. I absolutely love Grade 2, so I brought Grade 3 back this year. So there are 125 trait-based lessons in this book, and as always, Evan-Moor's books correlate with the current standards of most states, of pretty much all the states. So in this particular book, it is on a daily. It is one of their daily books, so you have and something that the kids are going to do every day of the week. My son tends to not do this like that. He tends to do Mondays and Tuesdays on one day, and then he'll do Wednesday and Thursday on another day, and then on the third day he will probably do Friday. And sometimes he stretches Fridays depending on what the assignment is for that activity for Friday. He'll stretch it and do it on Thursday and Friday. My only encouragement to him is to just get it done before the week is over with, or over the weekend, or however he wants to do it. I love these books because, one, it's a book that he can do on his own if he needs to, but it also helps support the writing programs that we're working in. We're not working in a per se writing curriculum, but we do have some other writing things that we do, and I tend to blend this in with that as well. So that is one thing I do love about this. As always, this daily 6 writing trait book is in the teacher file box. I talk to you guys all the time about the teacher file box to tell you guys how much it is worth the money that you pay for it. So this book is in the teacher file box, and don't forget they do offer a 30-day free trial that you can just check it out, and you can look at all the different resources that are in there, with the exception of the summer review books. And I did notice that the Skill Sharpeners Grade 3 Grammar and Punctuation was not in the teacher file box unless they have updated it and put it in there here recently. So now I will tell you that this particular book is the teacher book, and with the teacher book there's a difference. The teacher book has the lesson plans and everything that you need in it to present it to your student. Now you can get just the student practice book, and they look like this. So if you have multiple children that are either working in the same grade, or you have a child that can either be bumped down or bumped up into one particular grade level, so you can have all your children working in the same book, I recommend that you get one of these, the teacher book, which is the one that looks like this, and it will tell you that the weekly lessons are here and reproducibles are on here as well. And I recommend that you either get this particular book first, and then if you have more children, get the student practice book, or you can do it however it works best for your child and for your homeschool, or however you're homeschooling or doing traditional school. So again, this is the teacher book, but has all the reproducibles and things in it as well. You do not get the reproducibles in the student book. You only get those in this particular book that looks like this. So the children will have 5 units, and each unit 1 is ideas, 2 is organization, 3 is word choice, and 4 is sentence fluency and voice. Grade 2 has the exact same units in it, but each week is totally different as far as the topics of what they're going to be working on. And I love this book because it's very much organized to basically flow the way a writing curriculum would flow if you were in a traditional school, or if you're using the language fundamentals books, or even the daily language review. I really do love how these books tend to kind of complement each other as far as what you're working on if you have a lot of books in the Evan-Moor family. So again, each week has a different area of concentration. So the unit 1 will be working on periods, sentence capitalizations, the 5 W's, as well as, contractions, question marks, commas, and place of names. And what I can tell you is that when I walk you through the daily language review, these areas are hitting in the very first week of the language review book, and that is another daily language review book, and that is another one that I'm going to be walking you guys through today and tomorrow. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So as always, Evan-Moor always has an how to use this book. So there's a complete teacher overview to tell you how the book is laid out, how each lesson is done, what the key points are in that lesson. It gives you your lesson plan, your trait skill that you are going to be working on. That again, that is your unit that I called out to you. And then there's the other pages that you're going to be working on, and as well as it gives you all these little side notes for you to reference when your student is working on these pages. But because my son did work in a grade 2 book, he's very familiar on how these books flow, so he tends to do really well as doing it independently. But I do look over his shoulder, and if he is working and he turns something into me, I go through his book and I look to make sure that he is hitting the mark and he understands what he's doing. So days 1 to 3 are always a really fun, quick activity for the students to do. And then you start looking at day 4 when the students start doing an activity. And then day 5 has your students writing prompt, what they're going to be writing about. So everything that the student does over the entire week correlates what that writing prompt of the week is going to be. And I tend to kind of give my sons a heads up on what the writing prompt is going to be about in his planner. He does keep a planner, and so he kind of knows, and so it kind of gets his ideas going, even though the book will help him work through his ideas to do his writing prompt at the end of the week. But I tend to kind of give him the heads up sometimes of what he's going to be working on. So each one of the traits or the units are completely detailed for you to show you what these are going to be working on and what the focus are for those different traits. And then of course you can use the rubrics that's in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and open this up for you. And so here's a scoring rubrics. So these are the things that you're going to look at on each one of your writing areas to make sure your student is hitting those marks. And they're all right here for you to look at, and you'll see here are all the traits again here along the side for you to match it up. So of course you can make a copy of this and you can put your student's name on it, and then you can have that to slide into your portfolio. So let's go ahead and look into the very first lesson. So this is the very first lesson. Full disclosure, like I said, we have not gotten into this book because we're now starting to transition to a lot of our second semester items that we have for our homeschool. And so the pages that I flipped through, they're not going to be done. And the reason for that is because this is a second semester resource. So week 1, as you can see, here's your complete lesson plan, what the students are going to be working on each particular day. And then here are the sheets that they're going to be doing each day. And I'm going to show you these as I do the flip through. So every single day, you know exactly what your student is going to be doing. You know exactly what each activity and how it is divided up on this worksheet of what they're going to be working on and what they're going to be looking on. This is an excellent tool if you're one of those parents who need to be detailed for your record keeping in your homeschooling, or even in your traditional schooling or your Zoom or whatever you're doing, for you to have this extra information here so you can go back and reflect. Because if you're not really used to the different writing processes or what students need to be doing for your students' grade level, you have all this information right here for you to look through. So let's go ahead and let me show you what an activity page looks like. Quick and to the point, not a lot of busy work. It just gets the kids starting to think about what they're going to be working on. Now, I will tell you, this is one of the reasons why my son tends to do day 1 and day 2 together, because he doesn't want to lose that momentum of what he's working on. So he will do day 1 and day 2 all in one day, and then he'll take a break, and then he'll move on to day 3 and day 4 as a way for him to continue to work. So I really do love how he does it. I actually have just started putting it in my planner that way for him, but some days he'll mix it up for me and he'll be like, no, Mom, I'm just going to do 1 day today, or I'm going to do 2 pages today. So however he wants to do it. So again, here is the day 4 page of what the student is working on as far as they're building their ideas, or taking your ideas from the very first couple days and they're putting it here, they're narrowing it down, and then they're going to write about what the writing prompt is for that week. So here's day 2, same thing. I mean, one thing I love about it is that the variety of the activities. Your kids are not going to get bored. They're not going to see a lot of repetitiveness. Like some books you have where it's like the same type of activity every single day. Kids tend to get bored with that, and then they don't want to do it because there's no surprise and there's no challenge. So I love how they do it. And then I love that they put familiar things that your student may be familiar with. So like Stella Luna, that's something that he's familiar with. I read that story to him a long time ago. So this is something that he is familiar with. And if he's not, I know that there's a great way for me to either to go on YouTube, look this book up, or even go to the library and find the book so he could just kind of refresh his memory. The second book for this is on here is Where the Wild Things Are. I know that he knows the story. We might just check that book out, or we might just check it out. I think it's on Amazon Prime for him to look at. So again, keeping things familiar with your student, keeping things where your kids are still interested in what they're doing. No pressure writing. I personally do not like writing programs that basically throw all of this information at your kids to start writing about, and then your kids are just kind of sitting there like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and then they're just feeling so completely overwhelmed. I like the way it builds up, so your child is not just thrust into writing about the writing prompt. It's giving them some ability to kind of build up to it. So here is week 2, and then I love these bubbles. I call them bubbles. I love the bubbles, and I think these bubbles work really well for him as well, because he knows that once he fills up the bubble, he can just go ahead and start writing his story. So I love the bubbles, and I call them bubbles, and I know they're not called I know that they're not called bubbles. I just call them bubbles. And so he loves this kind of setup. And so it's pretty much the same kind of setup. Lots of variety for your student. Lots of the ability to basically make this curriculum their own and not feel pressured into doing anything. And again, I love the fact that that they have the teacher's pages in here, so you can know what you're doing as far as when you're writing for your working with this with your child. They do have the proofreading marks in the back of the book. I highly recommend that you make a photocopy of this, especially if you have more than one child, and you stick this in a writing folder or on a wall somewhere. I tend to let my son I print this out for him, and then I let him put it on his cork board, and sometimes he'll put like stickers or something on it. I don't really care what he does with it, just as long as he continues to use these as part of his writing. And I use these when I'm checking what he's written down. So here is the 6 daily writing traits for grade 3. Again, I will link this book in my link tree for you to check out. And as always, if you have any questions, you know what to do. Hit me up in my direct messages or drop me a message up under this video, and I will get back and contact you as soon as possible. And until the next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.